7 o'clock newscast brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and brought to you by Connexus, providing fiber internet in Clinton. Get more at DeWittDailyNews.com. Here's what we have coming up for you in news on this Thursday. It's prom weekend for Clinton and several other area schools, and a local law enforcement official is promoting prom safety. The DeWitt County Museum has a special event this weekend. We hear from Museum Director Joey Long here for this morning. Also, a Central Illinois school leader is fielding questions regarding the DOGE impacts on local education. That story next in news. And this weekend, the University of Illinois Extension celebrates National Day of Service. Those stories and much more to come here in news on this Thursday. But first, we stream to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Prom comes a bit early this year, and a local law enforcement official is hoping those young adults participating will have a good time, but be safe. Clinton Police Chief Ben Lowers knows prom is very exciting for a young person, and while they look forward to that special evening, he hopes they'll make good decisions.
It is. It's a big day for them. It's a big weekend for us all the way around. But Saturday, April 26th is this year's high school prom. You know, we always like to discuss prom and some of the risks and considerations that come with prom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, prom is such an exciting time for those kids, and it's something that they will often reminisce about at future high school reunions and things like that. And so we want to make sure that they're safe in doing so and make sure that those are positive memories moving forward. So my understanding is they're having it at the high school this year, Grand March, I think 4 to 4:30 at the high school leading up to that for everybody to come see, you know, all those students and attendees all dressed up. But you know, a few of the things that are just kind of commonsensical, but we want to always touch on them is obviously to say no to alcohol, smoking, drugs, and sex. Don't drink and drive, and don't get in a car with anyone who has been drinking. Wear a seatbelt every time, no matter how short the trip. Make sure parents or guardians know where you are at all times in case of an emergency, and call a parent or guardian or someone you trust in case plans change or you need help.
The chief reminds your friends may not make the same choices as you and may pressure you into making bad choices. He encourages sticking to those lessons learned about saying no to drugs and alcohol.
Many teens don't report teen dating violence because they're afraid to tell friends and family. Tell a family member or call 911 if you or someone you know is being abused. Going to prom should be an exciting time in your life. Keep it fun, healthy, and safe by following these tips. And when it comes to safe driving, you know, it's not only you driving out there, but the risks of other drivers during late night and early morning hours. So be prepared to deal with the pressures that come with the territory. Not everyone will have as good a judgment as you are. There'll be some who will decide to drink or use drugs and try to encourage you to do the same. Don't be caught off guard and say yes to something you may regret in the future. Be ready to say no or walk away. Have a plan. Humor often works in these situations, and once they realize you're not going to join them, they're more apt to leave you alone.
A few more offerings from the chief. Plan something fun and be in communication with your parents. Chief Lowers also encourages parents to know where their kids are going and set expectations for the night.
Plan something fun and stick to that plan. I think this is very important, especially for parents to talk to their kids about. Make sure your parents are aware of your plans. Stick together and know your surroundings, and don't veer from that plan. Prom is all about the memories. As I said a little while ago, this is a night that you'll talk about for an entire lifetime. Keep it safe and memorable one. If you or your friends plan something exciting, off the wall and memorable, no one will want to leave to drink or use drugs. You can go for coffee, grab a late night bite to eat, or even something, you know, karaoke, something of that nature. But I don't know that they have an after prom anymore. They
still,
well, I don't know. I think it's been hit or miss, but you know, I've always thought that was a great idea to keep those kids, you know, prom is often considered, you know, kind of an all night thing. And so I think that it's very important to have plans and stick to those plans.
Chief Flowers emphasizes the importance of parents' conversation with kids leading up to prom. The DeWitt County Museum is kicking off its season of events with a bang on the WHOW Morning Show Wednesday. Joey Long, director of the C.H. Moore Homestead and DeWitt County Museum, told Regional Radio that this Sunday they welcome author and historian Guy Fraker to give a presentation on President Abraham Lincoln and the woman who is thought to have been his first sweetheart.
The afternoon of Sunday, April 27th at 1:30 p.m. And we are so excited about this. This is our first special event of the year. You know, we always have our annual events and then sprinkle in a few special events throughout the year. And so this is the first. And I'm very excited about this. So everyone is invited to join us in welcoming author and historian Guy Fraker as he shares his insight regarding the story of Abraham Lincoln and Anne Rutledge. Anne Rutledge, of course, being the young lady believed by many to have been Abraham Lincoln's first sweetheart. So the name of this program is Abraham Lincoln and Anne Rutledge. Is the story true?
Long holds Fraker in high regard for his passion for history and is excited for him to return to the homestead for this weekend's presentation.
It truly is amazing to listen to him. And he has that special way of how he presents. You know, his books, of course, are, meant to be very scholarly and factual and straightforward. And you can expect that, at this presentation. But also it's just such a down-to-earth and personal way of presenting. So, yeah, we're really looking forward to having him with us. Now, I want to mention that this is a free event, so it's open to the public, no admission to attend, no reservations necessary. It will be held in the carriage barn. There will be additional parking available in the lot directly across from the museum. And if anyone, would like to have any additional information, if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to give me a call at the museum.
Join the, again, author and historian Guy Fraker at the Carriage Barn at the C.H. Moore Homestead on Sunday at 1:30. Learn more about this free event at chmoorehomestead.org and be sure to follow the Homestead on Facebook. News time is 7:15 here on this Thursday. Still to come this morning, this weekend, the University of Illinois Extension 4-H will celebrate the National Day of Service. That story comes up next in just a bit here in local news. Also in sports this morning, a beautiful day for spring sports yesterday. Clinton powered past Bloomington Central Catholic in an 8-inning thriller. Recap of the Maroons' victory in Bloomington comes up after 7:30 this morning. Monticello blanks Salt Fork behind a complete game from Gatsby Grant on the mound for the Sages. That story next in sports as well. Other winners yesterday: Normal West on the baseball diamond, Lexington on the softball diamond, and Arthur Lovington Atwood Hammond beating Blue Ridge in high school softball. Those stories and much more in sports, again, on the other side of 7:30. While Central Illinois school districts don't rely heavily on federal dollars, the money they do receive is very impactful. That's why Warrensburg-Latham School Superintendent Cheryl Warner indicates educators across the state are watching closely with concern about what is happening at the federal level as it relates to education.
Right. So, I mean, if you're paying attention to what's occurring nationally, and again, like I said, I'm not talking politics, just what you read in the news. We've got a lot of people very concerned about what happens if federal funding is cut and or if it's transitioned to the state level, right? And I think it's kind of a big unknown. When we started to hear these kinds of things, I don't think there was a lot of concern because we really didn't think that that would occur. But now we are starting to see some departments closing at the federal level. We are starting to see some cuts occurring. There was a large news story about how universities are impacted this morning. My daughter, who actually attends U of I and is about to enter grad school in the fall, actually lost her graduate assistantship because U of I is cutting some graduate assistantships as a preventative technique because they're concerned about their own funding, right? And this all dribbles down. So the concern is, how will it truly impact the public schools? We are very fortunate that our state superintendent, Tony Sanders, has been a steward for this and has been a voice of logic along the way. And public school districts have been told to not be too concerned at this point, but it's something that we are all thinking about.
According to Warner, they are receiving calls concerned about what happens to the programs their students are a part of and how DOGE impacts the future of those.
It's hard to think when we talk about the federal funds that public schools get. Our federal funds are tied to our students that are the most at-risk students that we serve, the students that need the most support, our students with IEPs and 504 plans, our students that fall under free and reduced, because it's all special education and title funds. So it's really hard to wrap your head around what would happen if those funds were cut, because we certainly can't cut back on services for those students. No matter what the end result is, districts will have to determine a way to move forward with those services with or without the funding. It's just not ethical for us to not do that. So
right.
Yeah, it's concerning. And I know we've got some parents that are stressed. We've gotten a couple of phone calls at the district office and in the buildings of parents that have some students that they know are supported by these funds. And, they're seeing what's occurring in the news, and they're curious and concerned about what will happen. What will services look like if by chance funds were to be cut and or if funds were transferred to the state level, right? Again, a big unknown, but it's certainly something we need to be very proactive in communicating with our legislators about. It's legislation season. And so if you're working for a school district, you're an administrator or a school board member, or you're getting all sorts of call to action right now, multiple a day sometimes, to either support or give your concerns about particular legislation that's on the table, which there's always a lot of.
On top of what is happening at the federal level, as mentioned by Warner, school leaders are also watching Springfield closely for potential laws around cell phone bans in school. News time, 20 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Thursday. 4-H is an organization is emphasizing service for its members and will put those values to work this weekend. Terry Miller-Casey, Extension Director at the University of Illinois Extension in Logan, Menard, and Sangamon counties, explains Saturday they'll be celebrating the 4-H National Day of Service, which encourages 4-Hers across the country to get out and serve their communities.
Saturday is an exciting day. It's the 4-H National Day of Service. So 4-Hers from across America, not just in Illinois, will be participating in different service opportunities. And this is really important in 4-H because one of our 4-H's is about having our hands to greater service to helping our community. And so this is a day that we do it all year long. 4-Hers are always participating in their communities and helping out. But this is just a special day to kind of call out all that the 4-Hers do. So some 4-H clubs maybe will collect food for the local food pantry. Others might be cleaning up parks. Others might be helping clean up at cemeteries. Just all kinds of different projects that they're taking on as a group, sometimes as an individual. And so if you see those 4-Hers out on Saturday, they're probably doing their service and hopefully helping make their communities a little better.
Before the National Day of Service, clubs will plan out what they would like to accomplish for their service projects. Miller-Casey notes this conversation is led by students.
Well, we certainly hope it wouldn't be felt to be mandatory. We
Sure.
hope it would come from the heart again.
Of course.
But usually the clubs, during their club meetings, they'll talk about, hey, 4-H Day of Service is coming up. Club, what would we like to do as a club? What are some things that we feel we could do to help our community? And, like I think about my daughter's club where they will say, hey, we could help clean up the roadways and pick up litter, or hey, the park should sure use some help. We could help get it ready for the spring, or the food pantry's needing food. And so we like to let the youth lead the process. What do you think that you could do in your community? Where is your community in need of help? And so in our 4-H clubs, they bring that forward, and then the 4-Hers themselves will help choose what they like to do. Oftentimes, they're the ones who reach out to different organizations and coordinate those activities, because we want that learn through doing aspect again. We want the kids to be in charge as much as possible so that it truly is coming from them and they are learning how they can play a really important part in their community.
If you'd like more information on the, again, National 4-H Day of Service for all the resources and programs offered through Extension, visit extension.illinois.edu. 23 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Thursday. Plenty more to get to coming up on the morning show.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
Spring is in the air, so it's time to choose your new Silverado. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. We have a good selection of new Silverados with springtime savings and special finance rates. Choose from regular cabs, double cabs, or crew cabs in gas or diesel. We're also allowing extra money for your trade on all new Silverados this month. Silverado, together let's drive. See all our inventory at BaumChevyBuick.com right from the start.
News time 24 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Thursday. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. Can interscholastic athletics coexist with club and travel sports? It's something retired IHSA board member Katie Hassan is worried about. Hassan, a principal at Rock Ridge High School in the Quad Cities, has spent 9 years on the IHSA board, including a stint as the board president. She retires in June. A rural mental health summit is planned for next month in Illinois. Lynn Weiss with the Farm Family Resource Initiative is organizing the event. The Rural Mental Health Summit is May 15th at the Agris Center in Bloomington. Get more information and register at siumed.org/farm. The clock is ticking on TikTok as a second enforcement delay by the Trump administration nears a deadline. Earlier this year, the president signed an extension allowing the social media giant to continue operating in the U.S. until June 19th. A deal to sell the social media application, which is owned by a Chinese company, is hanging in the balance. However, Illinois Republican Congressman Darren LaHood is at odds with his party's leader over the application. If a deal were to happen, most American investors would own and operate the social media application. According to the latest data provided by ByteDance, the app owner, over 170 million Americans use the social media app. News time, 29 minutes after 7 o'clock. News brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick and Connexus Fiber Internet. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Russia has unleashed a deadly attack on Ukraine's capital, Kiev. A drone and missile strike overnight left at least 9 people dead, more than 70 others injured. Pakistan and India enacting a series of retaliatory measures against each other following a deadly attack by gunmen in Kashmir. It killed 26 people, most of them tourists. Hoping to derail President Trump's tariffs, a dozen Democrat-led states are suing the administration in the U.S. Court of International Trade. The National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett says that while Trump trade policies may hurt in the short run, if given a chance, they will yield positive results for American workers and will do so quickly. Watching Wall Street, the Dow futures are down 222 points, NASDAQ futures 42 points in the red. More details at srnnews.com.
Sale would be unlawful.
With SRN Sports, I'm George Williams. NBA playoff action. Last night, the 2 top teams in the Eastern Conference were winners. Cavaliers over the Heat, 121-112. Cleveland takes a 2-0 lead in the best-of-7 series. Celtics beat the Magic 109-100. Boston going up 2-0. The Rockets even their series against the Warriors at a game apiece with a 109-94 win. The game cost Golden State Jimmy Butler, who suffered a pelvis contusion on a foul by Amen Thompson, and Butler's status for Game 3 still undetermined. Tonight you'll have the Knicks against the Pistons, Thunder against the Grizzlies, Nuggets against the Clippers. NHL play. It was the Kings over the Oilers 6-2. Kings go up 2-0. Adrian Kemp lending 2 third-period goals and 2 assists along the way. Capitals beat the Canadiens 3-1. Washington goes up 2-0. In overtime, the Stars beat the Avalanche 2-1. Dallas goes up 2-1 in that series. This is SRN Sports. NHL tonight, Panthers against the Lightning, Maple Leafs play the Senators, Golden Knights against the Wild, Jets play the Blues. Major League Baseball, a couple of extra inning games, Rays over the Diamondbacks 7-6. In 10 innings, it was the Mets over the Phillies 4-3. Then you had the Tigers shutting out the Padres, Pirates shut out the Angels. Nationals over the Orioles 4-3, Twins beat the White Sox 6-3. Mariners down the Red Sox. It was the Cubs defeating the Dodgers of her second night in a row. It was the Giants over the Brewers. Athletics beat the Rangers, and the Reds winners over the Marlins. Astros beat the Blue Jays, Braves over the Cardinals, Yankees beat the Guardians. Rockies and Royals were postponed. They'll play a doubleheader today to make up the game. Sad news in the NFL, the Chicago Bears family mourning the passing of Steve McMichael at age 67 after a bout with ALS. He was a senior member of Pro Football's Hall of Fame only last summer. He helped to lead the famed 85 Bears team to a Super Bowl championship. This is SRN Sports.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. A 5-run eighth inning propelled Clinton to an 8-3 victory over Bloomington Central Catholic Wednesday in an extra inning non-conference high school baseball thriller in Bloomington. Colton Walker singled in a run to put Clinton on the board in the first, and two batters later, Josh Bass delivered a single that drove in two to give Clinton a 3-0 lead. After Bloomington Central Catholic tied the game at 3, the pivotal eighth inning unfolded. Bass blasted a 3-run home run to right field, the decisive hit, putting Clinton up 8-3. Preston Curtis got the win for the Maroons with 2 scoreless innings. Cole Fentress went 6 innings of 3-run ball. 1 run was earned on 5 hits with 3 strikeouts and 4 walks. Bass finished 2 for 4 with a home run and 4 RBIs. Walker was 1 for 3 with an RBI and scored 2 runs, while Jack Manning finished 2 for 5 with an RBI and scoring a run. Clinton is 8-8 overall. They visit Shelbyville this afternoon. Gatsby Grant threw his first varsity complete game in shutout fashion, leading Monticello to an 11-0 win over Salt Fork in non-conference high school baseball yesterday in Sedell. Leading 3-0, Eli Kraft's 3-run homer to left broke the game open, extending Monticello's lead to 6-0. And the Sages poured it on from there, scoring in every inning from the 3rd through the 7th. Their offense showcased power and consistency with doubles from Ike Young, Eric Arnold, and Hayden Romano, complementing the Kraft long ball. Grant allowed just 6 hits and 2 walks while striking out 6. Arnold finished 3 for 5 with a double and 2 runs scored, while Kraft was 2 for 3. Cole Basak was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. The Sages improved to 16-3 overall. They host Paxton Buckley Loda this afternoon at 4:30 p.m. Hear the action on 95.9 FM WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com. Normal West Chase Reinhardt delivered a stellar performance on the mound, leading the Wildcats to a 3-0 victory over crosstown rival Normal Community in Big 12 high school baseball action Wednesday at Normal West High School. The Wildcats capitalized on early opportunities to build a lead. In the bottom of the first, a wild pitch advanced a runner, followed by a Ryder Kuhn RBI ground out and another run scoring on a fielder's choice, putting Normal West up 2-0. Kuhn tripled with 1 out in the 4th inning and scored on a sac fly by Brady Hart. Reinhardt went the distance on the mound, allowing 3 hits and racked up 10 strikeouts. Kuhn finished 2 for 3 with a crucial triple, an RBI, and 2 runs scored. Hart also contributed an RBI on his sac fly. Normal Community drops to 12-4 overall and suffers its first loss in the Big 12 to go to 8-1. Normal West improves to 13-6 and 7-2 in the Big 12. The two teams meet again on Friday at Normal Community High School. Lincoln lost to Normal U High Wednesday 11-4 in Central State 8 high school baseball action in Normal. Lincoln jumped out to a 4-1 lead, but it was all Pioneers. After that, Griffin Shaw went 2 for 3 with an RBI, while Austin Lucas was 2 for 4, and Ashton Corley was 2 for 3 with an RBI. Lincoln drops to 6-12 overall and 2-6 in the Central State 8. They're off until next Tuesday when they host Morton. Despite a strong offensive showcase from Hayworth, Lexington beat the Lady Hornets 13-8 in a high-scoring Heart of Illinois Conference high school softball game in Lexington on Wednesday. Hayworth jumped out to an early lead on Emily Rogers' 2-run single in the first that gave the Lady Hornets a 3-0 lead. However, Lexington responded and led 12-5 after 3. Despite trailing, Hayworth continued to battle back. In the top of the 4th, Grace Streens hit a solo home run to start the inning, and Lauren Streens single brought home 2 runs, cutting the Lexington lead to 12-7. Grace Streens paced Hayworth, going 4 for 4 with a solo homer and 3 runs scored. Rogers was 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs, and Ellison Louderberg contributed 2 hits and 2 RBIs. Hayworth falls to 4-9 overall and goes to 0-5 in the Heart of Illinois Conference. They host Eureka on Friday. Arthur Lovington Atwood Hammond beat Blue Ridge 8-2 Wednesday in Lincoln Prairie Conference high school softball action in Farmer City. Alla jumped out to an early 3-0 lead in the top of the 1st inning. The Lady Knights responded in the bottom of the 1st on a Carson Steiger solo home run. The Blue Ridge offense struggled to generate opportunities after the Steiger home run. Lily Anger stole a base and was 1 for 3 with a run scored for Blue Ridge. Addison Rose was 3 for 4 with a triple and a run scored, and Steiger finished 1 for 4. Blue Ridge is 6-8 overall and 1-4 in the Lincoln Prairie Conference. They visit Delavan on Friday. Get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. A mix of clouds and sun